My friends, the DC case we're going to be talking about today, the Midair. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that many of you are going to find most problematic because I've got some harsh words. By the way, I was just doing research like moments before. Sometimes people say, "Why don't you start exactly on time?" Because it's free and I get to pick the time I want. And I'm doing this for me. I love when people say that. Why is this late? Because it's me. I'm doing all the work. Most people sit back, they don't throw a dime into this. They don't contribute nothing. They just want to complain. Why are you late? Oh my God. You always get, but that's just the way it is. Like last night, we get these jerk-offs who all of a sudden say, "You don't know what you're talking about. OMG, you're so stupid." Because I was in the military. I mean, there's this anger. And then the latest, wait till you see what Ainsley Earhart, that idiot, said. An idiot. Oh my God. Look, I can't tell Hannity what to do. That's your business. But there is nothing, and I mean nothing, in my worldview, more unattractive than stupid. Stupid trumps weight, education, even a tattoo, or 2 or 3. Stupid is irreparable. And mediocre talent in a world of profound disaster is something I cannot countenance, nor will I brook. So guess what, my friends? We are, oh my God, there's so much to talk about. People, I'm now talking about misinformation. Is the pilot a DEI transgender woman thrown out who's out of her mind and crazy who appeared on Bishmerkanish, or is it the other guy? I don't even know what to. I'm going on X. I'm thinking, who's telling the truth? I'm saying, no, I don't want the government to come in, but I'm saying, does anybody know? Does anybody read anything? Does anybody check anything? And as soon as you say DEI, people just jump on this. Oh my God, they can't get enough of it. Jump on it. DEI. She was DEI. That's it. That's what killed these people. DEI. I said, well, you don't know anything. It doesn't matter. I like this. I like where I'm going with this. But that may not be true. Who cares whether it's true? Give me a DEI story. That's where we are. It's incredible. Somewhere in this, I want to say, take it easy. Just because you find something interesting doesn't mean it's an aha or we know anything. It's incredible. I watched something today. I'll give you the link. It's a great video of a pilot. He doesn't say anything. He just shows me the charts, and he goes, I know. This guy's the best. Listen to him. He doesn't say anything. Sully Sullenberger, he weighs it. He doesn't say anything. The headline and the title has nothing to do with it. My God, people are so goddamn stupid. They just see somebody who's pointing to charges like he's not saying anything. I know what happened. 200, 300. Yeah, we got that. And just because you showed me, no, look, see, here's it. No, I know that. Here's John Kennedy. He's going this way in the car. Here comes a bullet. No, I know that, but there's more to it than that. You're just pointing out what everybody is saying. You're just repeating what everybody's saying. And then you got Ainsley. You're not going to believe this ditz. Well, first of all, let me tell you, welcome. Thank you for your support. Here I am. Get ready. This is the last day in the month, so let's pay attention, my friends. And believe me, if you want somebody to mimic and mine a bird, the usual conspiratorial route, wrong show. If you want me to mine a bird and repeat the official narrative, wrong show. If you want independent thinking, critical analysis, and somebody saying that's interesting, we don't have any information yet, this is the show for you. But before we do anything, listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. All right, my friends, still working up to the last minute. This is tough. Remember something here. This is the most important thing. We don't have a staff. We don't have producers. I got to do everything, which is the way it is. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I hate complainers. I'm not complaining. But I'm just telling you, it's a one-man show here. It's a one-man show. This is it. And it is sometimes overwhelming. Like last night, I was thinking, I just jump into bed and I just shut everything down. I can't take it. It's unbelievable. Susie, by the way, is a new member. Welcome, Susie. It's overwhelming. And I have this thing where I want people to use critical thinking. And we don't have it on both sides. Critical thinking means I want to analyze this. I don't want to necessarily pursue something that I want to be. For example, somebody was saying, you know, there's a kind of a Russian connection here. What do you mean Russian connection? Well, I think there might be a Russian connection. What do you mean Russian connection? Well, no, say it. Well, you know, there were some Russians. And what do you mean? You think what, Putin did this or the Russian FSB? What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. Don't say that. This is not a, you don't, when you say, you know, I believe or I think there's a Russian connection, that's not it. That doesn't work. What do you mean you think there's a Russian connection? Why? Why do you think that? Why? Don't say that. There's no Russian. I don't know what that means. There's some Russians. How do we know who? Did you see there was a picture? I don't even know if it's true. I don't know what to believe. There was a picture. Did you see the one of the one casket or whatever? It seemed like only one casket had a flag on it or something. Did you see that? Is this true? Is this true? I don't know. And if there was some lone VIP who was supposedly the target of this, why would you put a flag on the casket? I don't know what to believe anymore. I used to think this, you know, on X, they have this comments, viewer comments, or whatever you want to call them. And they had this one, Shinzo, was it Abe from Japan? He goes, look at this. He was against COVID and against the vaccines and this, and they killed him. They killed him for what he believed. And then somebody at the bottom says, you know, he resigned years before COVID. It's like, I didn't know that. Well, it's a good meme. How about when you read a meme and it's misspelled? All right is two words. All right. When I see a great meme, this is terrific. It says ALRIGO, or there will be a pluralization with an apostrophe. Why do people think that to pluralize something, the Obamas are in Hawaii? apostrophe S. No, it's S. Why do we do this? There's this wonderful, and it should be ecumenical, it should be open to the public, but there are these morons who just don't even care. Look, I'm not a journalist. You know who I think is probably the best, the absolute the best journalist, not some, but who really knows her stuff? Whitney Webb. Bar none. Alex Jones has the best show. Alex Jones, there was a fellow yesterday. I don't even know his name. It's the young man, I guess, in the morning. He was superb. Owen Schroyer is very good, but sometimes Owen will say things where he's not really telling you anything. Okay, I'm going to tell you when I think about this. And he doesn't tell you anything. Just like Sully Sullenberger. Read his take in the New York Post. He doesn't say anything. Well, you know, it is treacherous. And you know, at night, it's hard to see. No shit. Really? It's hard to see? It's hard to see at night, Sully? Thanks, buddy. Thanks. This is what they put because they have to keep feeding this runaway train, this to feed the boiler. You know, they're putting the furnace, they're breaking off wood and furniture and they're throwing it in there to keep this thing going. Just say something. Daily Mail is the best, but I got to tell you something. This is incredible. Now watch this. This is the story that made me sick. And Mrs. L heard this in real time, and thank God I didn't. Ainsley Earhart, I guess she'll be Ainsley Hannity, is an idiot. An idiot. Caught up in this, I'm a Christian, I love our troops. Sits there with her list in front of her on her lap. She's like, Corinne Jean-Pierre, reading this. Say what you want about Lawrence. By the way, Lawrence, you know, Lawrence, the young man in there. Pronunciation, one of the worst. Accept. Somebody help this guy out. Do me a favor. For his own good, would you do me a favor? Somebody, please, help this guy out. Diction. Explain. Or is it, I used to sit there and say, oh my God, he's gotten better, but it's just, and then there's Ducey, who's just, hey, you know, okay, fine. Look, if you like that, God bless you. But Ainsley is this, I'm so sweet and cute and love. Okay, fine. Look, it's a gig. God bless you. Listen to this story. A former Navy SEAL. Oh, how many former Navy SEALs are there? There are more former Navy SEALs than there were SEALs. It's like more people went to Woodstock than went to Woodstock. If everybody who went to Woodstock was all right, we have like 10 million people. But a former Navy SEAL was evidently rattled, this is according to the Daily Mail, when Fox News host Ainsley Earhart posed a chilling, parentheses, stupid question about Wednesday night's crash between an American airline passenger. Jake Zweig, an aviation expert who served in the Navy, I guess he's a Navy SEAL, now they say he served in the, appeared on Fox and Friends to discuss and analyze the details surrounding the tragedy. And of course, the producers will get somebody on the phone and check their Rolodex. Anyway. So although he is no stranger to devastation, Zweig was taken aback when Earhart asked about the final moments of the people on board the helicopter and the plane. This is an idiot because she's an idiot. Listen to this. She said, quote, it's a tough question to ask, but I always think about this when we report on someone who has died. This is Ainsley. This is homespun hokum, you know, corn pone hayseed, sitting on the thing, you know, and watching then the Jesus and the troops and all of it. Okay. What were those last moments like? Because this is her quote. I'm doing the affectation. What were those last moments like? Because you don't want anyone to be scared, but you also want people to say their prayers before and have a little bit of time. A little bit of time? But if I were in that situation, you just want it to be quick, you know? So do you think when the plane crashes, when something like this happens, there's no pain, right? The people don't experience that. After taking a moment to digest Earhart's words, Zweig blurted out, "Golly, can you give me a harder question? Golly, I just want to make sure they didn't fall through the air and land on the water." She interjected. You think somebody would have said, "Shut her up, cut her mic"? Now, I know she's untouchable because she's going to marry Hannity, but I would say, oh, no, that's it. No. We can't. If she's stupid enough to say this, what could she say in the future? Now, Zweig, who's an aviation expert who served time in the military, appeared to discuss whatever it is. Rescue efforts. I can't really go on and say that it was a really kinetic crash. We've all seen the big explosion. Aircraft turned and crashed into the water. I mean, obviously, we can't talk to any of it. Do you understand my sense of horror with this? This dingbat's making how many? Look, they're basketball players, but at least they're good basketball. They're athletes and musicians. She serves no purpose other than she's Hannity's gal. That's it. She's a dingbat. And they know this. And they don't care. It's incredible. It's beyond anything I've ever seen. Hang on a minute. Where are we? Oh, Lord. Hang on a minute here. Let me see. Here we go. There we go right here. First of all, Sue says, "Thank you, Mrs. L, for all your hard work." Sue's thank you. Raul says, "Do we crave destruction, distortion, and chaos? Do we crave it?" Maybe. Sue, what do you think? What do you think, Sue? Do we crave it? I don't know. I don't know if we crave it. I think that we just don't know any better. This is where I'm saying watch this, because they're like saying stretch it. Stupid, I'm allergic to it. Anything else I can take. Anything. Stupid, I one time worked on a radio show, and the idiot, there was a program director who was an idiot. I mean, the guy was retarded. And for some reason, just kind of hung around. They couldn't fire him, or I don't know. He was there for a long time, and the people think that because you've been there, you know something. So he decided, let's throw this dingbat in, because he said, quote, "She has a lot of energy." And I told him, a gerbil has a lot of energy too. And it was some kind of a NASA event, and it was a Mars. We're gonna a Pathfinder, and she thought at some point they were gonna put like a Toyota Pathfinder. Well, luckily we caught that off the air. But we're sitting around. Everybody's asking, and she had to get the last word. She had to let everybody know, I'm here. So she was talking to the science correspondent, and he goes, "Jim, I got a question." "Yes." And she had a kind of voice like this. She sounded like Sylvester the cat. What the hell is going on? And she said, "Does Mars have a sun?" I swear to God, does Mars have a sun? S-U-N. So I got up and I walked into the program director, who's another idiot, who, I mean, this guy thought USA Today was the be-all, the end-all of news. And I said, "You're not going to fire her, are you?" "Did you hear that?" He goes, "Yeah," because he had it on his phone. He always listens to the phone. "Yes." "You're not going to fire her, are you?" "No." If she doesn't know that this core bit of information as far as the solar system, what do you think she also doesn't know? You're not going to fire her. But if she had said the F word or something, you would have fired her, even though she would have used the word correctly. This is what's wrong with this country. And what's also wrong is we have this thing among ourselves, and we have to clean out our own versions, because I don't know where people are. Now, let me explain something. Answer my question. Do we know? Yes or no whether the pilot of the Blackhawk, that seems to be the person in error, or the party that seems to be, from what little I'm seeing, and I say unqualifiedly, as a civilian who was just doing my best. Remember, jurors are civilian. Jurors sit on juries for medical malpractice, intellectual property violation. You're a mom, a dad, whatever it is. And so I, as a juror, I'm looking at the evidence. But does anybody know? The answer is no. 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 Netanyahu's coming to the White House. Okay, there you go. Boy, I bet you they had to assure him, they're not going to arrest me now. Right. You sure? No, right. So if that plane, it better not be forced down over any country where there's some arrest warrant for me, right? Right. You sure now, right? Yeah, you sure? Okay. Absolutely, huh? Okay. This is going to be good. Wait till you see this one. Oh, they're going to go nuts. There is a world, a great, great, great group of people. Judge Napolitano, John Mearsheimer, Jeffrey Sachs, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Monte, even Katie Hopper go down the... Please go see Crystal Ball, who was on that moron on, I think it was News Nation, some guy who I don't know where they got this guy from. Central Casting, she referred to Israel as an apartheid state. And this shill who had to say, oh, I'm going to send him, those ones who say, let me tell you something. This may not be a perfect country, but by God, we're, those people who are, this was either an AIPAC or an Israel or something. This guy was Central Casting shill. I couldn't believe it. And he said, what are you talking about? Apartheid. Now, you may not agree with that, and that's okay. But only a moron, Ainsley level, would have missed the fact that the ICC, the ICJ, South Africa, who knows a little bit about apartheid, have referred to what's going on in Palestine as an apartheid state. There's no, it is not being mean. There's a clinical definition for that. And this Jadrul, I don't know where they got this guy from. I swear to God, I don't know who this guy is. I saw this. And Crystal Ball, she's very good. I don't watch Breaking Points like I for some reason, I don't know, kind of get, it's just like anything else. You ever have a cologne, you say, you know what, I don't like the smell of this. Or you're eating something every day and you go, I just can't. But she kind of says, okay, all right. And this guy said, I'm doing okay, right, boss? Am I doing okay? Are we still in business? News Nation? Hello? Are we still in business? Did I do okay? Did I shill enough? Did I act offended by the notion that somebody would dare say that Israel... And by the way, I'm not anti-Semitic, and I'm not... Israel and Judaism have nothing to do with each other. Nothing to do with each other. In any event, it's just, it's the dumbing down of America. And cable news, or whatever this is, it is so dead because the first thing in the world that you will never hear is, okay, hi, your name is Ainsley? Yeah, okay, good. Ainsley, thanks for joining. You're going to be talking to, well, you're not going to take a test. You're going to be talking to some people. And they're going to be asking you a few questions. We're going to find out whether you're a shill, whether you're a mannequin, or whether you're legit. Do you really know what's going on? Is this news thing meant for you? Or are you a fallen, beauty pageant contestant or somebody who wants to be pretty or cute or something? Or does this guy, hi, how are you? Do you want to be a Ken doll? Do you want to be a Jim Jensen? How are you? I mean, is that, or Ted Baxter? Is that what you want to do? Because if you want to do that, we're going to find out. And we're going to put you through this. And then somebody's going to come back to me and say, well, boss, I talked this ATF. Dumb as rocks. Forget it. Get rid of her. I will show you headshot after headshot, reel after reel of women or men that you would consider beautiful or handsome, who are smart, who know what they're talking about. They're you don't really see stupid. This one's stupid to ask somebody like that. But also these phonies, who don't really know what news is about. Now, next subject. Listen to me. You can't yell DEI like a minor bird. DEI. Can't. I don't know if it's a parrot or a minor bird or or some type of corvid or some type of I don't know what you want to call it. You can't do this. We sound like idiots. We're on a one-trick pony. And we keep saying this over and over and over. Marcus Ferguson, by the way, who has an instrument of currency no one understands. 200,000 drachma Filipino Krugerrands. But I love this man. Says off topic. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God, off topic. Okay. Is it true Swalwell has... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Thank you. I don't know anything about that. But thank you very much. When I hear off topic, I go crazy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, let's talk about what we know. The question is, do we know who the pilot was of the Blackhawk? Yes or no? Not whether you read it, because I have two different folks seemingly legit on X. One saying DEI, transgender lunatic, it was on the Spurkana show, and another one was a nice looking, was a father, a sailor, or maybe with a family member. I don't know. You tell me. Do we know? No. Do you understand this? Do we? This is my question. Do we? Do we know? Do we know? Do we know? Anybody? We don't know. But yet, with a certitude and an absolute, there's this group of people that say, yes, we know this. This is the DEI. And I don't know. Could be. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell whether any of these folks are whatever you think it is. I don't know. And it's one of those things where it's really it's very, very interesting to me. Now, why is that important? Number 2, DEI means, the way we use it, that a person has been selected because of their diversity, equity, or inclusion, or because of their gender or sexual affiliation or whatever it is, or trans, not their talent. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That's what DEI means. DEI doesn't mean, hey, look, there's a transgender person. No. It means this person was selected, notwithstanding the fact they're not any good. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I have had, through my years, worked with and been associated with a lot of cops who were women. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them gay. I mean, if they're not non-binary, I don't know if they're trans, but non-binary, and they were absolutely the best of the best of the best. They were the best. I'll give you an example. If they rolled up, you would think they could sweet talk, they could de-escalate. Fantastic. Better note writers, better report writing was critical. You go to court and you go, what is this? Somebody can't write. Transgender, somebody who said, I've had surgery. Once you go through hormones, therapy, surgery, anything, you're going to need. Then we're talking a different story. All right. Katie Tur. You know who Katie Tur is? Anybody? Anybody know that name? Katie Tur. Katie Tur used to date Keith Olbermann. So this woman is out of her tree. Now, Katie Tur's father is Zoe Tur, who came out as a trans woman in 2013. Tur uses the pronoun he when referring to her father, is Katie, before his transition, and she when referring to him now. Okay. Now, this guy, Zoe Tur, no. Yeah, no. Hang on. I got to get this straight. The father, yeah, Zoe Tur, born Robert Tur. This is the guy who leaned over during a conversation with, I think, Ben Shapiro, and threatened either to break his neck, his back, or some particular part of his body. And he could have done so. Now, I do not believe, listen to me carefully. There's a reason for this. Follow me. I do not know. I have no idea whatsoever whether this feller was had surgery or whatever. I don't think so. But this guy with the wig or whatever it was could have taken Ben Shapiro like that. Now, and I think he was. Let me get this straight. Zoe Tur. I think he was Zoe Tur was a commercial a pilot and journalist who was born Robert Tur. However, I think there was some type of military or helicopter or something. Okay, fine. Now, if this person comes to me, let's assume that Robert Tur was a great helicopter pilot. And somebody said to me, sir, I like the way Trump always says, sir. All these people call him sir. Yes? I got a guy here named Zoe Tur, was born Robert Tur. Here's his military record. Damn. Hire him. Now, hang on a minute. He's a woman now. Has he had surgery? No. I'll take him. No, sir. What is it? Is he crazy? Well, not necessarily crazy. I'll take him. Can he pass the physical? Yeah, I'll take him. Look at this. Look what this guy can do. He can fly like that. But sir, what? He identifies as a woman. I don't care. He's a great pilot. That's the way DEI should work. See what I'm saying? Hey, it's a trans person. Hey, terrific. I don't care. Is he a great pilot? Yeah, great pilot. I'm not going to disqualify somebody because they decide to wear a dress. Now, I do have a problem, and it's me. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's surgery, things like that, we might go some emotional things. I don't want somebody with emotional problems or that I know of. And I might be extremely broad brush with this. But let me say this. DEI, the way we use it, means a person who has been hired merely because they are this way. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's what DEI means. Not that they were transgender, but that they were hired because of that over their qualification. If someone is qualified, really qualified, and happens to be, if Sean Ryan, no, if you know, Shipley or Brian so-and-so or whoever one of these people, if they decide to wear a lady's wig or whatever, and they're still that good, hire them. I don't care. If tomorrow LeBron James, if he's even playing anymore, I don't know about basketball, but let's assume if LeBron James were tomorrow say, I'm going to be called LeBronita James and I'm going to wear a wig, great. You're still going to play, right? Yeah, let him play. Because first and foremost, whatever he identifies, who cares? DEI says, no. We want diversity first. That's the thing. That's wrong. Number 2, 3, 4, whatever the numbers are. Stop saying DEI like a parrot, like a minor bird, like a chirping. I don't know what. We sound like idiots. I know what DEI is about, and if we're talking about DEI, great. But don't use it as the way they use conspiracy theory. The way they use conspiracy theory. Don't do it. Now, let me stop right now for 1 second and remind you of something. Today is the last day, the very last day of the month. And right now, Prepare with Lionel did you see their EMP protectors, those surge protectors against electromagnetic pulsing? They've got stuff nobody has. I don't know what happens tomorrow. I don't know what the deal is tomorrow. They don't clear with me. But today, right now, I know for sure the 4-week emergency food supply with $50 off, the best starter kit there. You shouldn't have to have a starter kit. That's like, would you like a carbon monoxide detector? Yeah. Well, we're going to have a baby carbon. No. Here's a starter kit. No, I don't want a starter kit. You start with this. This is only food, emergency, and the like. But anyway, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. That's it. And I'm not going to ever let the moment go by without saying again, our allegiance and our faith on our friend Mike Lindell with mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Go right now and receive a free gift. Use promo code Lionel, Lionel, or Lionel, as people call me, Lionel. I don't know where that comes from. I think it's from the people refer to the trains as that. It's Lionel, rhymes with vinyl. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's it. Towels, slippers, slides, you know the routine. Now, this is the most important thing in the world. Now, another one too. Last night, we had a fellow, gray matter, Baron, gray matter, something like that. Very nice. And he said, I forget what he said. I was the military. I was in the military. I was a pilot. You don't know anything. You people are stupid. Basically something like that. You're stupid. You're an idiot. You're dumb. Yeah, okay, fine. But it was kind of along those lines. And I said, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, fair enough. Well, where should I go? And a lot of people were saying, well, this is what you've got to go to now. This is the best guy. And I watched somebody who was very, very, actually very good. It was really, really good stuff. And I will tell you where it is. And I'm looking right now because let me see. I was looking for this. Just a second. I'm sorry, dear friends. Dear and great friends. There was a okay, here we go. So there was this story, which is very interesting. And I said, well, let me see what's going on. So I looked at it, and I give you the guys. It was very good. And he wasn't claiming anything other than he had the vectors. It was, here's the Blackhawk, and here's the American Airlines, and they're going like this. This is a 300. This is a 200. Yeah. And they're basically showing what happened. Boom. Now, what our friend, the rather contumacious fellow last night, says, that doesn't tell me anything. What do you mean that doesn't tell you anything? That doesn't tell me anything. That just tells me what happened, not how it happened, not why it happened. If I were to tell you, okay, do you ever deal with accident reconstruction people? These were the best. Oh, we used to do it a lot of times with DUIs and vehicular homicide. These guys always had that little thing in their back of their cars, that little wheel that you do skid marks, and they're running off a coefficient of friction, and go like that, and like this, and then they go like that, and it's just twisted metal, but they could see where this cable is coming from this way. How do you know? How do you know who's coming from where? It's just, they're like this twisted steel. Was this guy coming this guy or coming this way? I don't know. They could tell. They could tell. Now, when you said, were the drivers drunk? I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened. Okay. Was there anything wrong with the car? I don't know. Were the traffic lights out or whatever? I don't know. Were they distracted? I don't know. Could there have been some type of extraneous, either a bullet or something fired at the car itself to cause it? I don't know. Didn't know anything. It just says this one's coming this way, this one's coming that way, and that's it. Go to a murder scene. What do you got? Look at this. It's like, well, don't forget Nash, N-A-S-H. Actually, natural? Is this natural? No. Why? Well, guy's handcuffed behind him. Oh, okay. That's not natural. Accidental? No. The self-harm, S word? No. Homicide? Yes. Homicide. Great. Why were they killed? I don't know. Did they have any gripes? I don't know. Were they threatened? I don't know. Was anybody here? I don't know. I don't know. Was this made to look like a homicide? I don't know. This just tells me this is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So I can show you all this stuff all the time. I can play for you the ATC, the voices. I can play for you. I can show you. What does it tell you? Nothing. I know what happened. They crashed. This one was down. This one was up. They were using night vision goggles, NVGs. They had this thing called a white phosphor, this particular style. This thing might not have been very good. Somebody said they were on a training mission. I saw this on X this morning. What? They were on a training mission. What does that mean? They didn't know what they were doing? Training, you're always training. Navy SEALs, Delta Force, they train. They know what they're doing. Hello? Training doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing, but they said it was a training mission. Ah. Well, what's wrong with the training mission? Isn't that good? Oh, yeah, I guess. Well, you make it sound like it's bad. Okay, well, you're right. Because people go into this thing wanting to find fault. I'm neutral. I just want to find the truth. Did anybody take over that plane? I don't know. Could that have happened? I don't know. Was there anybody on that plane? Was there anybody, excuse me, not on the plane, but on the Blackhawk? Is that, we sure about that? Yeah, because it needs an ATP or something. No, not an ATP. Something, normally it meant somebody special, but I don't know. I don't know. Uh-oh, here's Marcus again. This time with 200 billion Filipino Krugerrands. Sorry to put you in that position earlier, El. Sincerely. Your morning is my evening, and well, in vino veritas, my bad. No, not at all. Not at all. I just don't want to go on the record repeating anything. By the way, I think you're talking about condyloma acuminata. I don't know anything about that, so I don't know. But thank you. You needn't ever have to apologize. Very funny. That is a good one. Off the subject. Off topic. But did John Wayne ever suffer from vitiligo? What? Anyway. Now, we don't know anything. You think Ainsley's going to figure this out? No. And going back to that stupid question. Remember, boom. Thing was cut in half. Boom. Did they have time to pray? This is when people take prayer, spirituality, and they turn it into, look, that's your business. There's different types of prayer, spirituality. There's the Yale School of Divinity, and there's studying the words of Thomas Aquinas versus this, and did the hope, and did transubstantiation, and the Eucharist. That's really interesting. Then there's the other one where the little kid who says, now I lay me down to sleep. Both of them spirituality. One's a little bit more complicated than the other. Still valid, still beautiful in their own way. Ainsley's in that first one. Do you get the chance to pray? When you're going through something like that, and you're looking for hope, you might pray, dear God, let us get out of this, versus, dear God, let my last moments be whatever as I join you. That's a different story. It's probably the first, if you're aware of this. Cut Up Chatter says they almost hit 2 other planes earlier that eve. Well, yes, and then of course there were other ones that were behind them. In fact, if you watch this again, but it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me anything. Let me go back to one thing. There was a show I saw off Broadway called CVR, Cockpit Voice Recorder. And they took the final words of 3 or 4 or 5, I don't remember, actual collisions. And the actors were saying final, and most of the time was words like, oh shit, that was the final word. And more than you can imagine, or holy, there was one instance, I think, where they knew they had some time, and there was somebody, either a flight attendant or somebody, said something in the cockpit. This is to my children. I love you, and wanted this to be their fun. This was a rare occasion. But that was it. In moments of less kinetic, you are, first of all, going into sensory overload. If you have the ability to appreciate what is happening, and if it's not immediate, if it is not something that happens, and you are just, there's going to be a moment of sentience, assuming you are not immediately eliminated from existence upon the collision. There is something where you are in something where your brain says, I know what's happening. Many people, some will scream, some will freeze. You don't know these things. Do you know these last moments? Do you know? We don't know. Interesting story. One of the books I loved was called How We Die by Sherwin Newland. And Sherwin Newland was the father of Victoria Newland. And Victoria Newland is, of course, this ghoul, this hawkish ghoul who wants to involve us in all these problems. He said one time that he believes there may be something involving drowning. Cut Up says, your AI rejects my supposition. Your AI, based on what I heard and what I saw, I will not allow my message, no matter how, it will not. Okay. Okay. Well, there be it. And for you to not be able to come up with a version of that, I don't even know what you're trying to say, but thank you. He said that he believes when people are drowning, something happens to them where they are in a state of calm by virtue of post-mortem evaluation, post-mortem inspection, and also one time when he was young, if I recall correctly, he himself was drowning and was rescued, but felt himself slipping, so to speak. And it was a very calm sense. There is this calm. We've heard about the light, where people are aware of the transitional. That's one form of it. This is a different story. So in that particular type of stress or trauma, yes, it's been said, posited, that maybe there's some kind of an insouciance that you feel by virtue of the effect. Don't know. Okay, that's that. There's this other thing. Talked to a friend of mine who deals with hospice and palliative care. Listen to this. This is interesting. He made the statement to me. He says, whatever you do, die at home. If you can do it, somehow, do it. Do not, this is what he's telling me. He said, not to a home, not some kind of a care, but do it at home. We can do wonders for you. So I asked him, I said, what would you suggest for me? Because we always have, I said, if anything happens to me, I want you to, he goes, I'll take care of it. He said, there are so many ways for people to enjoy a peaceful and wonderful transition for the inevitable. I don't want to get too much into this, but one of them is the withholding of food. It's very simple. With the different types of sedation and anxiolytics that make this transitional. It's not the S word. And he said something very interesting. He said there is a part of the brain that is very, very hardwired to survival. And it's this thing that makes us fight for every moment of life. There were people who were in prisoner of war camps, death camps, whatever it is, who realized there was no way they were ever going to get out. But they fought. And the amount of self-harm that was done, which could have been done during moments of whatever their particular activity was, to get out of this mess, they didn't do it. Even though it was seemingly impossible. And most of them, he said that one of the things that's interesting is that in order for people to make the transition, listen to this, into the inevitable, is to dampen, if you will, that part of the brain, the part of the life, the instinct, which clings, and to not turn it off, but slow it down so that more rational part, not I mean one's irrational, but that the thinking part can say, okay, yes, this is a time for us to go into this trajectory, this vector, into the next stage of our existence or non-existence, whatever you want to call it. But in order for that to happen, you have to turn this part off. And that's where certain drugs can come to help. And I thought that was fascinating because and Ainsley, by the way, would have just understood nothing that I just said. Nothing. Because she is a 3-year-old or 5-year-old who wants to get into the prayers and the God and the Jesus, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own level of complexity. But for her to take something that complicated and to say in a kind of a muse, because she may feel like, hey, I got Hannity, I can say whatever I want. He's my old man, so I'm gonna sit back and say, I wonder, do you think that? Imagine, God forbid, family members watching this. And let me tell you something, my friend. There is nothing in the world that is as transformational as you to be in the position ever, in any way whatsoever, to come into contact with people who have met their fate in non-traditional ways. Most of you have been to funeral homes and you've seen Uncle Dave or your parents or somebody, nice setting with a suit on, looking peaceful, lighting and all types of makeup and everything to try to fool you into thinking, oh, they got a suit on. My favorite is, put on glasses or somebody. Why? Because, well, that's the way they look like when they were alive, but they were breathing then, and they took their glasses off when they went to sleep, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to mock that, but that's what we do. We've always had this weird, and by the way, Ainsley is evincing this kind of almost like a Neanderthal, simple, simian kind of raw, understanding of life and death or whatever. Anyway, but unless you have seen this, unless you have been a part of it, unless you talk about things like Israel and Gaza, unless you see what we're talking about, unless you physically see it, and there will always be something about this that will amaze you. The matter-of-fact attitude, the calm. I saw a particular instance. There was a recovery in I guess Gaza. I don't know where it was. And this isn't to say that Israelis themselves have not suffered through bombings and the like. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about in this instance. You know how sometimes you do sandbags like this? There's a sandbag. You get the sandbag here, and you hand it to this guy, and then this guy hands it to that guy. They were doing it with people and children like that, and they're putting it in a truck. And this thing, these people who had names and likes and dislikes and favorite foods and all of this, they're just gone. And there's a doll-like look, which is so interesting. You don't realize what life is and what the soul is until you see it gone. There's a kind of it just, and you realize it. One of the most fascinating things to ever see, because you have to understand life. If you want to understand life, if you want to understand working out and seed oils or whatever the hell it is that you're worried about this week, which is very good, you have to understand what the absence of that is like. And if ever you have been or seen a time when there is the immediate, when it stops and the heart stops and you see this pallor, it's like the soul, the color, it's fun. It's so fascinating. You don't realize once like the pinkish hue, it's gone. The eyes don't fixate, and you know immediately. And nobody wants to talk about this. There are things that we don't want to talk about in this world. That, the cessation of life, and also the elimination process and defecation. We don't want to talk about that. We're going to talk about it, but we don't want to talk about that. We never talk about that. Never. We'll kind of joke around it. We're very funny about this. So going back to this notion of Ainsley, does she really want to talk about the final moments? Does she want to talk about prayer? Does she want to talk about how the prayers were not answered? Or somebody told me one time, well, they were heard, but they weren't answered. Oh, okay. Now, I'm not trying to minimize this. But my problem has always been in my life that I take people at their word. I said, oh, you want to talk about this? Yeah, okay, let's talk about it. And then I realize they don't. Oh, no, because they I come across to them as though I'm being obstinate, or I'm being sacrilegious, or you know what I mean? Because I'm asking questions, just like I've always been. Hey, that building that fell down, did you notice that? Don't ask that. Don't answer the question. What? Now here's one for you. Did you hear this story? Let me read this story to you. You're going to love this one. Are you ready? Oh, it's a good one. Shall I read it to you? I'm going to read it to you. The Federal Aviation Administration the FAA was hit with a class action lawsuit last year, alleging it had denied 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers jobs because of diversity hiring targets. As it was revealed, staffing levels were not normal at the time of this week's deadly midair collision. Let me read something here. Put this on the better. Hold on one second. You beauteous folks, hang on a minute. There we go. There we go. Yes. The FAA was hit with a class action lawsuit last year, alleging it had denied 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers jobs because of diversity hiring targets. As it was revealed, staffing levels were not normal at the time of this week's deadly midair collision. Complaints about the FAA's hiring policies resurfaced after the American Airlines passenger plane, the Blackhawk helicopter, crashed in Washington on Wednesday, killing 67 people in the country's deadliest aviation disaster in almost a quarter century. Details of the litigation reemerged too, as Andrew Brigida, the lead plaintiff in the suit, suggested the Federal Aviation Agency's obsession with diversity hiring and inclusion had only ensured an accident was likely to happen. The crux of the lawsuit is that the FAA, under the Obama administration, dropped a skill-based system. This is according to the New York Post, by the way. The crux of the lawsuit is that the FAA, under the Obama administration, dropped a skill-based system for hiring controllers and instead replaced it with a, quote, biographical assessment in an alleged bid to boost the number of minority job applicants. Brigida, who is white, alleges he was discriminated against solely based on his race when his application was rejected, court papers state. The vying air traffic controller, who graduated from Arizona State University's Collegiate Training Initiative in 2013, was turned down for a job even though he had scored 100% on his training exam. The lawsuit adds to the mounting criticism the FAA has failed this week over its hiring policies, with some, including President Trump, claiming diversity programs were in part to blame, for understaffing and overall lower standards of air traffic controllers. Asked if he thought years of diversity hiring ensured an aviation accident was bound to happen, Brigida told The Telegraph, yes, that's kind of accurate. His assessment came as the FAA revealed that the air traffic controller was on duty at the time of the passenger plane, was doing the work for two people. Staffing in the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan was not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic. The understaffing resulting in the controller pulling double duty, blah, 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 blah. So there you have it. Now, here is the question. What does this tell me? I don't know. Does this mean that this is what happened? I don't know. Were these people, did they meet their fate because of DEI? I don't know. Could anything have been done? I don't know. Tell me that plane was not sabotaged. Can you? No. Tell me, and we've been seeing that Blackhawk was somehow not taken over autonomously. Was it able to be? Do you know that? No. Well, why would that happen? That's the kind of thinking that gets you in trouble. I don't know. Tell me that the person who's not staffed, most people would say, oh, he did it fine. He's fine. He's great. That happens all the time. You don't really need to, but no, that wasn't the reason. It was understaffed, but at the moment this happened, he wasn't, going crazy. It's pretty much autonomous. No. Because that might have had nothing to do with it. Because, my friend, what I'm trying to show you and what I want you to learn, I know this sounds pretentious as hell, but I want you to learn this, is Causation, not suspicion, not aha. That may be, but it may have had nothing to do with that. Nothing. We have this thing in law. Obviously, there was a test around under negligence and medical malpractice, medical negligence, is but for. If somebody says, and this doctor ordered the wrong prescription and my relative, whatever, died. Expert comes in and says, he would have died anyway. Why? Well, this was the stage 4, and that would have made no difference. Yes, he made a mistake, but it's the causation. Let me explain to you negligence. You ready? You ready? Here's negligence for you. This is what you need to know. This is what every juror. The elements. Number 1. Is there a duty of care that is owed by whoever it is? The doctor, air traffic controller, the pilot, whatever. Is there a duty of care? That's the first question. The answer is yes. Good. Number 2, let's say it's staffing. Is there a duty for you to have at least 2 people? Yes. Good. Number 2, was there a breach of that duty? Yes. Why? Because it was 1. Should have had 2. Good. Number 3, were there damages? You betcha. And here's the issue. This is what it's all about. Was the breach, the failure to have at least 2 people, the proximate cause or the cause of the damages? Was the breach, was the failure to have at least 2 people in that tower or whatever it's called, was that the cause of that? If the answer is no, that's not the cause. That thing was this guy screwed up, or this DEI or non-DEI or trans, whatever, but this Blackhawk pilot flew right. No, it was his fault. Good. So that has something to do with this. But there was a breach, and there was a duty, but it had nothing to do with it. Next, you get into this thing called foreseeable. We're not going to get into that. That's the old Paul's graph test. We're not going to get into that. But the point is, that's the way negligence works. So yeah, you could say this has nothing to do with it. There are people, there are doctors who all that time they make all kinds of mistakes, but that's not what did it. It was something else, something intervening, another problem, or kind of a, well, that's the way it goes. Do you have a duty? Let's say an old woman is walking down the street at the end of her driveway to get her newspaper, and this hot rod right by, she said, oh my God, she grabs her chest, keels over. Dead. And you bring a negligence case against that driver because I guess he scared her to death or something. Does he have a duty to drive safely? Yes. Did he breach the duty? Yes. Were there damages? Yes. Yes. She's dead. Was that breach the cause of the damages? Was his speeding the cause? No. He didn't even touch her. I don't know. Can you even prove it? No. But it looks bad. So how you phrase things, I think, linearly. Yeah, there's these other issues. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's DEI. Yeah, it's not. And the best part about it is that when you live like we do, when somebody says, hey, listen, I just saw this thing on X. I'm just getting around to not calling it Twitter, but I saw this thing on X where, did you know that you can fly these helicopters remotely? Really? Yeah. You don't think somebody broke in, did you? And we're flying it remotely. How would we know? Now, you say that and you'll say, that's a good question. 99% of the people I know would say, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. Why? Because in their world, that's absurd. What about this? You know, I'm hearing it was a Russian thing. Why? What about it? Well, some Russians on board. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. What does that mean? Well, I'm just going to. Now, there also has to be a reason for this. You heard this too. You know when that certain building in downtown went down about 23 years ago? Yeah. You know who owned that building? Silverstein. You know who he is, right? I think you know what he is, right? Uh-huh. Now you know why that country... Wait. What? You're showing this, and this. What does that have to do with anything? I think you know what? Well, don't forget, this guy was a Democrat. And you can always you can always point to something. You can always point to something. But you've got to say, okay, fine, but you've got to connect it. You've got to say, okay, now what does this mean? I don't know. It might be great for probable cause, which is what you do to get somebody arrested. But to convict them, you need reasonable doubt. So when you're a cop, you can always say, you know what, we're going to take that. That's very good. That's good. That's good. Kind of get the things, kind of get the ball rolling. But that's, And then there are people like us. I shouldn't say like us because I'm not like this, but there are some people in our group who love. Remember I told you the old expression, it's a medical school term. If you hear hoof beats, don't think zebra. And it's not Occam's razor. That's always misquoted. But there are people I know who love this. Oh my God. I made something up the other day. I said, well, you know why that is, right? The reason why is because Michelle Obama doesn't want them to know about the guy and the cook and the chef and then that. And the real reason, Obama, and the problem is because and I made this up. I just stitched this, and I was just kidding around, this and this and this. And they said, you're right. And I said, oh my God. Now, with that comes our necessity. People who like to view the world like we do sometimes bring with them ways of looking at things that are different. For example, do you know where to find, if I were to ask you, where is the best place to find gambling addicts? You know what I'd say? A casino. Why? Because that's where they go a lot of times. Is everybody in the casino and a gambling addict? No. Is everybody there? No. But that's where I'd go. Do casinos cause that? No. But that's where I'd go. If I wanted to look for weird people who might do weird things to kids, where would you go look for them? Wherever the kids are. Makes sense to me. Churches, Little League, schools, after school. That's where I'd go. Are you suggesting everybody there is like that? No. But that's where I'd go. You see, sometimes when you set up certain circumstances, things happen. If I turned off all the lights in your home, and I brought in a water sprinkler can, like you water flowers, and I sprinkled water on the ground, and I threw some dirt, and I said, let's just leave for a little bit. Came back. You know what we're going to find next time? Mushrooms and mold, and it's going to be there. Why? Because we created it, invited it. Didn't cause it, it invited it. It was a perfect medium for that. I know that there are many of you wonderful people who love to see the dark, dank, horrible world, the underbelly. You love this. And I do too, if it's true. Because what I hate is to be disappointed. I hate. It's one of the reasons why I'm so reluctant against believing in certain spiritual things, because I'm not going to be set up for this. This is a big investment on my part, and so far, I'm not buying it. I read the prospectus, and I'm not buying it. Same thing with this. I don't know what I'm saying right now. There are all kinds of people like, well, who was, and you're going to hear, like this morning, I was going crazy. 2 different stories. Who is the pilot? Either this transgender person or this man with a family. I don't know. And there was no correction. People just jumped on it. They just jumped on it. I don't want the government to come in. Is that misinformation? Well, look, it happens all the time. When I was a kid, I heard stories. When I was a kid, I heard stories about Jim Neighbors marrying Rock Hudson. Remember that? And I told her, I have a friend of one of my best pals in the world. He was born in the South, raised in the South Bronx. I'm in Florida. This is before the internet. He heard the same story. How did you hear that? I don't know. But it was like, so, oh yeah, I heard that. The Richard Gere story. Oh yeah, I heard that one. Oh yeah. Where'd this come from? But people love it. Oh my God, they love it. You know who loves that? Sparky. Sparky says, like psychopathic globalists congregate in government. Yeah, but you see, Sparky, the globalists are not psychopathic. They're not psychopaths. They know exactly what they're doing. There are people in the Pentagon who are more psychopathic than the globalists. Globalist people want it simple. I believe in this. I want to make the money. I like this. I love it. That word psychopath, chances are when you're using it, it's incorrect. Incorrect. A clinical psychopath? No. No. Nope. I promise you, I watched that. Have you ever seen that guy? Sean Ryan has that, you know, that big, I see him always in these shorts. What's his name? It's the guy he was in every SEAL. He's got the white hair kind of big, and he's got, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. He talks about this, and then we went in, and I had my knife, and we took them all on. This guy's, I think he's so full of shit, it's not even funny. I'm sure he did it, but he's making a ton of money, just like all these mobsters, all these gangsters. They're like, what? Anyway, they're not psychopaths, but he talks about this. This is the most important thing in the world. Nobody's a psychopath. I know it sounds good. I know, and everything too is, I hear people all the time, and I run into this. And most of the time, when people say something, they really don't. Yes, Shrek. Thank you. Yes. I'm not buying half of what he says. I'm not buying half of what he says. But those people who talk about going in, and we took the whole film, and I blew them all up. Well, what is that about? Is he a psychopath? No. He's somebody who is a soldier, and he's applauded for this, and that's that. So, in any event, it's one of those things where, look, I think you know what's going on. I think you know what's going on. Look at this. Someone just writes, my comment was erased for mentioning the F-35 Lightning that crashed the morning before the two collided in D.C. But that wasn't erased. Isn't that interesting? My comment was erased, and you would think that would be erased. You know, whenever I say that Ronald Reagan was really a Venusian, I'm cut off. Well, you just said it. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, my friends. A wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Wonderful discussion. You all were fantastic. Sparky, cut up chatter. Thank you. Marcus Ferguson, my dear friend. STD expert. Raul Rodriguez. Suze. Thank you. And Suzzy. Suzzy is a brand new member. I thank you for that. Couple of things tonight we will be doing. Wait a minute, hang on. Sparky says, I specified psychopathic globalists. I didn't see how globalists are psychopaths. No, they're not psychopathic globalists. They're not psychopaths. Do not denigrate a psychopath by including them in this. That involves a thinking. Do you think that Klaus Schwab is a psychopath? No. No. Psychopaths deserve respect, because they have the rarest of the rare. A real clinical psychopath a neurologically verifying. I said, oh, that's a beautiful thing. Globalist says, it's okay to throw these words around. It's okay. It's okay. It's like for another one, too, is people get into the Zionist. He's a Zionist. Oh, my God. Really? Yes. He said, oh, the Zionist. And there are people who say, I'm not advocating that. You're a Zionist. Don't you understand? You're advocating. No, I'm not. I'm believing. I get this. You're a Jesuit. I am? Yes. You're part. Yes, you are. We love to do this all day. You're just saying that because you're a New Yorker. That's right. Cut Up Chatter says, tell Mrs. L I'm crocheting day and night. Well, bless your heart. Well, tonight, we're going to be tonight, it's Ventilation Friday. It's going to be absolutely beauteous. Also, Mrs. L will be doing a live one later. Make sure you subscribe to Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Make sure, because she'll be doing it later this afternoon. I'll be doing things as well. Also on my Lionel Nation, the Diddy story is fantastic. This is it. Look at this. You don't require poor morals because you're a psychopath. No. A psychopath, again, nobody knows what a psychopath is. They think it means a mean or a devious person or a killer or something. It's not it. Again, it's the wrong term. Somebody says, you're an atheist. So is a Hindu. What? Well, this is a non-theist, right? Well, that's not what I mean. I meant a godless. Well, he's godless. Well, that's not what I meant. I meant, Oh, another two is Satanist. You're a Satanist. Satanist? What are you talking about? In any event, far be it from me. So tonight, Ventilation Friday, follow Lynn's Warriors, Lionel Legal, and Lionel Nation. All right, dear friends, have a great and a wonderful day. Don't ever change a mean that sincerely. See you later. And until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. That.